The mist crept into Crystal Cove like a living thing, swirling and coiling through the town's cobblestone streets. It was as if the fog itself held a purpose, smothering the town in an unnatural stillness. The vibrant colors of the quaint buildings were dulled, their charm overshadowed by an eerie pall. Even the street lamps seemed powerless against the dense veil, their light dissolving into the fog as though swallowed by some unseen force. The air was heavy and damp, pressing on the town with an ominous weight. Over the past week, the mist had grown thicker each night, and with it came whispers of something sinister lurking within. In the pale light of early morning, a shadow emerged from the fog, faint at first, like a wisp of smoke. Slowly, it grew more defined, a humanoid shape cloaked in icy tendrils that shimmered faintly as it moved. Its glowing eyes pierced through the haze, scanning the deserted streets with a cold, otherworldly gaze. The figure left a trail of frost wherever it passed, freezing puddles solid and painting leaves with crystalline patterns. Those who dared to peek through their curtains recoiled in fear, their breath hitching at the sight of the spectral being. The rumors spread rapidly, fueling the town's growing unease. Some said the phantom was the spirit of a vengeful sailor, returning to reclaim a stolen treasure. Others whispered about an ancient curse tied to the sea. Theories ranged from the fantastical to the absurd, but one fact was undeniable. The phantom's presence was very real. Businesses closed early, and families barricaded themselves indoors as the mayor, visibly shaken, tried to reassure the town. "We will get to the bottom of this," he declared during a hastily organized town hall, but his trembling voice betrayed his own fear. While the town succumbed to panic, Velma remained focused. Her analytical mind was determined to find a logical explanation for the events unfolding in Crystal Cove. She spent hours in the local library, scouring dusty tomes and records in search of clues. It was there, hidden in the archives, that she stumbled upon an old leather-bound journal. The cover was cracked and weathered, but the contents were startlingly vivid. The journal recounted the tale of the Frosted Mariner, a legendary pirate ship that had vanished centuries ago in a violent ice storm near Crystal Cove. The author of the journal described eerie occurrences tied to the ship's disappearance: ghostly figures appearing in the fog, icy winds that froze ships mid-voyage, and whispers of a treasure cursed to bring ruin to anyone who dared claim it. Velma's eyes narrowed as she turned the brittle pages. The icy trails, the spectral figure. "It all matches what's happening now," she murmured. Snapping the book shut, she knew she had to share her findings with the gang. Meanwhile, Daphne was captivated by the haunting beauty of the frost patterns left behind by the phantom. Each design was intricate and precise, resembling delicate snowflakes frozen in motion. Her fascination drove her to follow the icy trails, which led her to the outskirts of town, where the remnants of an old glass factory stood. The factory had been abandoned for decades, its shattered windows and rusting machinery a stark contrast to its once thriving days. Yet, there was something about the place that felt alive, as though the phantom's presence lingered within its walls. Daphne snapped photos of the frost patterns, comparing them to the designs etched into the broken glass of the factory's windows. The similarities were undeniable. This place is more than just an old factory, she thought, her instincts telling her it was a key piece of the puzzle. Returning to the van, she shared her findings with the rest of the gang. Fred, ever the strategist, listened intently, his mind already forming a plan of action. Under the cover of twilight, the gang ventured into the derelict factory. The building loomed against the foggy skyline, its towering silos casting long, menacing shadows. Shaggy and Scooby lagged behind, their reluctance palpable. "Why do we always end up in the creepiest places?" Shaggy muttered, clutching a sandwich for comfort. Scooby whimpered in agreement, his ears drooping as he glanced nervously at the darkened windows. Inside, the factory was a maze of rusted machinery and decaying walls. Cobwebs hung like forgotten memories, and the faint scent of mildew lingered in the air. As they moved deeper, Velma's flashlight illuminated something unusual: frost-covered machinery. The patterns were deliberate, mirroring the designs Daphne had observed outside. These frost trails. They're too precise to be natural, Velma remarked. Someone or something is leaving them intentionally. Their search led them to a hidden door partially concealed behind a stack of crates. Fred pried it open, revealing a dark passage that stretched into the unknown. The moment the door creaked open, a gust of icy air rushed past them, carrying a faint, haunting whisper. "I vote we don't go in there," Shaggy said, stepping back. Before anyone could respond, the phantom appeared, its glowing eyes blazing in the darkness. Chaos erupted as the gang scattered. The gang's footsteps echoed through the factory as they fled. The phantom glided after them, its icy aura freezing everything in its path. Shaggy and Scooby ducked into a side room, slamming the door behind them. "This is why we stick to snacks, Scoob," Shaggy panted, pressing his back against the door. Meanwhile, Fred, Daphne, and Velma regrouped near the entrance, their minds racing to make sense of what they'd seen. Back at the van, Velma examined a shard of frosted glass Daphne had grabbed during the chaos. Embedded within the frost were traces of sea salt, further linking the phantom to the maritime legend of the Frosted Mariner. "We need to check the docks," Velma declared. Though hesitant, the gang agreed. The docks, steeped in history, had always been a place of mystery and danger. At the docks, the gang discovered a hidden network of tunnels beneath the boardwalk. The tunnels connected the marina to the glass factory, revealing an elaborate smuggling operation. Crates marked with the Frosted Mariner insignia were stacked neatly, their contents shrouded in secrecy. Velma unearthed a ledger detailing stolen goods and shipments, confirming that the phantom was a cover for criminal activity. Before they could investigate further, the phantom appeared once more, forcing them to act quickly. Fred set an ingenious trap using items from the crates, while Daphne distracted the phantom with a flare. Velma overloaded a freezer unit to create a dense fog, obscuring the gang as they ensnared the phantom in a reinforced net. As they cautiously approached, they pulled off the mask to reveal Gerald, the assistant to the factory's reclusive owner. Gerald's cooling suit and manipulations of the legend had allowed him to carry out his smuggling operation undetected. His greed and desperation had driven him to terrify the town. With Gerald's confession, the gang ensured the stolen artifacts were returned to their rightful owners. As the fog lifted and Crystal Cove returned to its usual charm, the townspeople celebrated Mystery Inc.'s bravery. Velma, reflecting on the power of myths, couldn't help but wonder what other legends might hold kernels of truth waiting to be unraveled.